came in last week. He's a great kid, and he has a lot of confidence. I like that. I like that in quarterback. He definitely has the pedigree. He has all the talent in the world. I'm a big fan. He actually went to Jackson State, which was in the same division as Alabama State where I went to college. So I've been following him ever since he was there. And I know that he, have all the tools to, be a really good quarterback in this league. And he's shown that he can be a great leader also. So I'm excited to work with him. I'm excited to, get to know him a little bit more. And, I'm looking forward to blocking for him. So I know Shedeur's going to be a great player in this league.
The new Browns right tackle just met Shedeur Sanders for the first time, and what he said publicly afterward is something that anybody but Shedeur crowd is not going to be able to explain away. He did not say he was excited to compete for a starting job. He did not hedge. He did not bring up any other quarterback in the building. He said he is looking forward to blocking for Shedeur Sanders. Full stop. But before we break down exactly what Tytus Howard said and why it matters more than it looks on the surface, you need to know three things first. First, Howard revealed that he has been following Shedeur since his Jackson State days, long before the NFL draft, long before the Browns, long before any of the noise. This is not a new teammate being polite. This is a veteran who has been tracking this specific player's development for years and is now telling you publicly that he believes in what he sees. Second, a Cleveland-based insider analyst just confirmed on the record that the organization from the top of the front office all the way down wants Shedeur to win this job. Not tolerates, not is open to, wants. That distinction is enormous heading into OTAs. Third, there is a ticking clock in this story that most people are sleeping on. The same analyst who said the organization is behind Shedeur also said publicly that whoever starts this season has roughly 5 games to prove themselves before the month-to-month evaluation kicks in. That is not a comfortable margin. And it changes the urgency of everything Cleveland does between now and week 1. Now let's set the stage, because the Tytus Howard story is the thread that pulls everything else together. Howard was acquired by Cleveland in a trade to address right tackle, the most structurally critical position on last year's broken offensive line. He is experienced. He has been around enough NFL buildings to know the difference between a quarterback situation that is genuinely open and one that is decided in all but official announcement. And when he got in front of a microphone after meeting Shedeur for the first time, he did not equivocate. He called Shedeur a great kid. He used the word pedigree. He said Shedeur has all the tools to be a legitimate NFL quarterback and has shown he can be a great leader. And then, the detail that cuts through everything, he traced his awareness of Shedeur back to Jackson State. Same HBCU division as Howard's alma mater, Alabama State. He said he has been following Shedeur since those days. Before Colorado. Before the combined drama. Before any of the noise. That is not a new teammate saying something nice for cameras. That is a veteran who has been watching this player's development for years, telling you that what he sees up close confirms what he believed from a distance. And then he said he is looking forward to blocking for him. Not, whoever the starter turns out to be. Not, the competition is exciting. Blocking for Shedeur Sanders specifically. Now here is what that actually means in the context of everything happening in Cleveland right now. And this is where the story gets genuinely significant.
I know we got some people over here. We got a guy over here named Anthony Lima who I know is not happy that Shedeur is the guy. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. He's mad. Shedeur Sanders won Browns free agency because they did not go after any of these quarterbacks that Anthony Lima was praying and wishing for. Let's take a listen to this.
The people who are from a national perspective, I just don't think that they have boots on the ground to understand, how the city may feel about it. I think it's the opposite. I really do think it's Shedeur's job to lose. And I think it was a good free agency for him where you have new people coming in on the offensive line. Now, they are going to be better than what you assume your old offensive line is going to be. Now, I specified earlier in the show the challenges that are laid out for George Warhop to get these guys playing in the right direction, get these guys all on the same page. You have new free agents.
A Cleveland-based analyst who covers this team with boots on the ground, not a national media personality reading box scores from a distance, just went on record saying something the national frame keeps refusing to accept. The organization from top to bottom wants Shedeur to win this job. That is a direct, specific assessment from someone inside the Cleveland media ecosystem who understands the gap between public organizational language and private organizational intent. And his read is that the intent and the language are aligned this time. The front office wants Shedeur. The coaching staff wants Shedeur. And the new players being brought into the building, like Tytus Howard, are echoing that without being prompted when they step in front of cameras. But the same analyst added a layer that deserves serious attention, because it is not just validation. It is a warning with a specific number attached to it. He said month to month. Publicly, the job belongs to Shedeur heading into the season. Privately, if Cleveland stumbles out of the gate, if the offense struggles in those first 4 or 5 weeks, if the line chemistry takes longer to develop than expected, the evaluation does not stop just because the preseason favorite has a name. Todd Monken is a first-time head coach. 60 years old. His first head coaching opportunity in the NFL. He needs to win games. A 1-4 start is not something he can absorb without making hard decisions if the evidence demands them. That is the honest reality of Shedeur's situation heading into 2026. He is the favorite. The organization is committed. The new right tackle was already a believer before he was a teammate. And none of that is a permanent shield from a performance-based evaluation once the regular season starts. Which is exactly why the OTA and training camp period is the most important stretch of Shedeur's career to date, and not just for the usual reasons. The national media does not understand Cleveland's fan base dynamic, the analyst said directly. From outside the city, the lazy read is, 5th-round pick, rough rookie numbers, Watson still technically under contract, competition should be wide open. But anyone with actual proximity to Cleveland knows the fans already decided. They claimed Shedeur last year. They made visiting defenders feel like they were playing against the entire stadium, not just the quarterback. Jeffrey Simmons said so himself on a podcast while trying to tell a welcome to the league story. The relationship between that city and that player is real, and it lives completely outside what any national media personality is willing to credit. So what does Shedeur need to do between now and week 1 to make the month-to-month framework irrelevant before it ever becomes a genuine conversation? He needs to come out of OTAs as the undisputed first-team quarterback, not by default but by demonstrating command of Monken's offense in every rep, every walkthrough, every team period. He needs 5 new offensive line starters to build their communication chemistry specifically around him so that by training camp the protection calls are automatic and the pocket holds long enough for the offense to actually function. The OTA chemistry piece is not a minor detail. 5 players from different teams, different blocking systems, different protection languages cannot communicate under live game pressure automatically. It takes shared reps. It takes running the same blitz identification sequence until the call is reflexive. George Warhop, the offensive line coach, has a massive responsibility this offseason, and the players need to be fully present and healthy from day 1 of the voluntary period to make it work. Every missed OTA rep is a deficit that has to be recovered in training camp. Every half-speed walkthrough is a gap that shows up as a sack in week 2. If the line comes together, and I believe they will, Shedeur enters the regular season with something he has never had before. A genuine pocket. Not a perfect one, but a functional one. And a functional pocket for a quarterback with Shedeur's processing speed and quick release is all the infrastructure he needs to show exactly what he can do. And he needs early performances that make the month-to-month concern a non-story by week 6. Not a perfect record, but drives, movement, decision-making visibly cleaner than what the broken environment of year 1 allowed. Progress that even a skeptical coaching staff cannot dismiss. Now let's go deeper on the Howard element, because the Jackson State detail is not just a feel-good footnote. It is the most credibility-establishing piece of the entire story. Think about what it means for a veteran NFL tackle to say he has been following a quarterback since that quarterback was playing in the SWAC. Howard went to Alabama State. Shedeur was at Jackson State. Same division, same conference culture, same level of competition. Howard was not watching Shedeur because the national media told him to. He was watching because of proximity, because of shared background, because of the kind of organic football awareness that comes from being in the same competitive universe as a player before the hype machine ever gets involved. That means Howard's endorsement of Shedeur is not shaped by draft capital, combined numbers, or any of the noise that surrounds the evaluation of players in the NFL pre-draft process. His opinion was formed by watching the actual football, the throws, the leadership, the composure. And now, after meeting Shedeur in person for the first time as a professional, Howard says in public that he is looking forward to blocking for him. That carries a different kind of weight than the usual new teammate press conference statement. It is not organizational obligation. It is organic belief from someone who arrived at it on his own terms, through his own football education, before any professional relationship between them existed. And that is the piece the national media cannot replicate with their anonymous source machine. They can find someone willing to whisper negative things into a reporter's ear. They cannot manufacture the kind of credibility that comes from a veteran offensive lineman saying, "I've been watching this guy since before it was fashionable." Here is what gives me genuine confidence that year 2 looks completely different from year 1. Tytus Howard arrived already bought in. The organization confirmed its private intent. The city is already decided. Quinton Judkins in the backfield removes the one-dimensional pressure that made the offense predictable last year. Monken's system is specifically designed around Shedeur's strengths: quick release, coverage processing, movement off script. And the draft capital still in play gives Cleveland the ability to add the receiver one that completes the picture. The anybody but Shedeur conversation is over. Howard confirmed it with his Jackson State reference. The organization confirmed it by not making a single meaningful move toward an alternative all off-season. The city confirmed it by turning every home game last year into a hostile environment for anyone who touched their quarterback. Now it is Shedeur's turn to confirm it on the field. And I am betting he does it in a way that makes the month-to-month concern look like the overreaction it always was. Drop a comment. Given everything Howard said and what the analyst confirmed about the organization's private intent, how confident are you that Shedeur is still the starter in Week 10? Give me your honest number. If you want to be here when we find out, hit that subscribe button right now. This is Gridiron Insights. We'll see you in the next one.